When we talk about modern fandom nowadays, our minds often go straight into sports. But in today's world, fandoms are no longer limited to physical sports or teams. They also could exist virtually. Fandom has expanded into new space, such as online platforms, creative communities, and digital media. One of those space is video games. Toge Production is one of the most recognizable name in the Indonesia indie gaming industry, garnering a bunch of loyal fans from their published works like Space for the Outbound and Coffee Talk. Founded in Indonesia, the studio has consistently focused on supporting small narrative-driven games and are often collaborating with local developers and artists. Their founder, Chris Anthony Saputra, alongside Sudar Minden, started their early gaming development project from a competition. Think in the likes of a game jam, which had a $1,000 prize pool, in which they failed. But soon after, ended up with a sponsor by putting their game at a gaming marketplace which funded Toge Production. On the other side of the story, we met with Elwin Lysander and Brigita Lena, another passionate game developer which fills the role of a technical director and the main art direction at Mujiken Studio, an at the time smaller indie game studio that are based on Surabaya. In this video essay, I will explore the game of when the past was around, examining on their developer and their national identity, the game story, lore and implied meanings, and finally, the fandom and the media engagement surrounding both the game and its creator.
So, When the Past Was Around is an adventure point-and-click puzzle game about love, moving on, letting go, and the joy and pain of everything in between. It tells a story of Ada, an aspiring violinist who almost giving up on her dream. Then she met a mysterious owl-headed man that inspired her and make her fall in love with him.
The concept of the game started way back in 2015, where Mujiken Studio held their own local game jam called Mujiken Camp.
Mujiken Camp is some kind of internal jam for Mujiken Studio that started back in 2015. And at the time, most of us are just illustrators and artists with zero or little experience with game development. But we wanted to create games anyway, so we learned some basic programming skill with a tool named Construct2, and also game asset work pipeline and pixel art and a bit of game design. The goal of Mujiken Camp is all about each of us to have a game of our own with our personality input into it.
Fast forwarding to 2019, we invited our fans and audience to decide our Mujiken Camp prom themes. The selected themes was future memories. So with my own personal interpretation, I designed a narrative about a couple who trapped in their memories of the past, reminiscing about what they lost and a quest to find a future with those valuable memories. And so that was the time when the past was around was born.
Indonesian storytelling traditions often value subtlety and emotional depth over loud spectacle. Feelings are suggested rather than directly stated. Meanings are implied rather than explained. When the Past Was Around strongly reflect this mindset. The game does not rely on heavy dialogues, cinematic cutscenes, or dramatic exposition. Instead, it communicates through visual, sound, and silence. This creative choice becomes a form of self-nationalist expression. For Indonesian players, the game represents more than just entertainment. It represents Indonesia creativity and culture reaching into a global stage. The success of the game itself shows that Indonesian creators and game developers do not need to imitate Western or Japanese game design trends in order to be relevant. They can tell a quiet story, a personal story, and still resonates worldwide.
Well, we try our best to make this game without any dialogue at all. So the story is told with character gesture, environmental storytelling, and music. So I hope with this people could interpret the story of when the past was around freely, depending on their experience in relationship and I think in real life experience as well.
The story, like the developer presented earlier, is about Ada and her past trauma. The game unfolds through fragments of memory, starting off with a white space where Ada releases a dark silhouette from a cage which then invites her to its mindscape. As the game progresses, it is implied by the game narrative that Ada has a sort of a special connection between her and the silhouette. It's told through passive storytelling like how they hold each other's hands, comfort one another, and even sharing a physical living space all together. Entering the puzzle section, I want to point out on a detail that many might have missed. You see, any other point and click puzzle games always start on a trial and error. Similar games such as Florence, Space for the Unbound, and my personal favorite, Omori, play with this mechanic quite a lot, where in those games, finding clues are necessary to continue the game onward, but they often leave a little to no trace on the visual itself. For when the past was around, you as the player could clearly see Ada's house getting more and more messy as you continue the story onward. This implies that you, the player, and Ada both want to uncover something that Ada has buried long ago in the past by creating a perfect pause mindscape.
Creating a challenging puzzle is actually the most challenging part of the development. Several redesigns and tuning are made because of this sole reason. We wanted our puzzle to have ties with the narrative itself. We wanted the players to be able to experience the romance between Ada and Owl. And we wanted the players to have fun with the puzzles rather than being frustrated with playing and solving it, and find some hidden stories within it.
By uncovering old memories, the shrouded silhouette that Ada wants to forget eventually reveals itself. He is the owl, the love interest of Ada. By now, we know that Ada's interest in the violin grew because of the owl. But something is clearly missing. Why is she trying to bury this memory? It is a beautiful memory of her, about her passion, and about her loved one. Why does she bury it? And then, suddenly... reality hits. The game relies heavily on visual symbols to communicate meaning. The violin represents connection and shared emotions. Musics function as a bridge between characters. Empty rooms symbolize absence. Color also play an important role. Warm tones appear during moments of closeness, while cooler tones dominate scenes of isolation.
The first thing is this game tells about at the dearest memories. I want to make some nostalgic mood using a warm color palettes. I also take great reference from my favorite illustrator, named as Of Sparrows, Yuko Higuchi, Mauri Sakai, and Pung for this project. So they have this warm everyday life theme in their illustration, and but also a bit of whimsical feeling in it. So I want to translate it into the game.
There is very little unnecessary visual detail. Every object serves as a narrative purpose. This minimalist design encourages players to slow down and pay attention. In a media environment that often values speed and stimulation, when the past was around, chooses stillness. This choice reinforced the emotional weight of the story and encouraged reflection rather than excitement. The game, just like time, would eventually continues, forcing Eda to accept the reality she's in, as she tries to let all go. Despite its quiet nature, When the Past Was Around has developed a meaningful and emotionally invested fandom. When the Past Was Around is what we often call a game without dialogue. Instead of relying on words and spoken dialogues to carry the game narrative, games such as When the Past Was Around tells the audience their story by visual storytelling, relying on gesture, music, and environmental cues to convey their plot. A non-dialogue game often gets the fandom to theorize the story on their own, reinterpreting them solely on their imagination and encourage them to share their narrative, to share their story. Unlike competitive game or sports team, this fandom does not organize itself around rivalry or performance. Instead, it forms around shared emotional experience between the games and its users. Player expresses their connection to the game through personal reviews on platforms such as Steam, comment section discussion on YouTube playthroughs, fan art and musical interpretation, and even many fans describe how the game reminded them of their loved one. At its core, a fandom is a collective feeling. Fans experience joy, disappointment, and enjoyment together. These platforms act as a digital space where people gather to relive emotional moments together. The publisher, Toge Production, is also part of this relationship. Fans often express pride in the studio itself, viewing it as a representative of Indonesian creative talent. For Indonesian players especially, When the Past Was Around holds a symbolic value. It demonstrates that Indonesia could also make a game that are completely global, be emotionally impactful, and be artistically respected. In another name, it is a modern symbol form of national identity, expressed through creative success.